Excerpts from an article titled, "The Life and Death of the American Mall" by Matthew Christopher, published in January 2024. Contemplating the life, times, and possible future of the Sunvalley Mall in Concord as we ride around it on Christmas Day. To be clear, I am not knowledgeable enough to suggest that Sunvalley is going away anytime soon. And when I returned the next day, it was hopping and I saw very few empty stores. In fact, it looks to be defying the national trend. From Matthew's article, I've visited hundreds of abandoned places in my life, factories to asylums, schools to churches, but suburban malls might be the most surreal and striking. They captivate the imagination in a way few other types of environments can. Malls have become a part of the modern collective unconscious, through both the haze of half-buried memories of any American over the age of 20. They reflect the American consumer's identity, and to see a suburban mall in ruins warps nostalgia into something nightmarish and forlorn in a way that abandoned factories, hospitals, or even churches don't quite do. We are all, to some extent, intimately familiar with the mall experience. Many of us in America had an indoor shopping center that was our mall at some point in our lives. Those memories are shared because even though we weren't all going to the same mall, we were going to the same franchise stores such as Sears, Auntie Anne's, and The Gap, which share the same layout and inoffensive color palette and logo lettering across the country. To know one of these malls is to know them all. It's a powerful magic I'm not sure I can fully explain, even after wandering the deserted storefronts of many vacant shopping hubs. Much has been written on the phenomenon of the collapse of the American mall and the reasons for it. The most obvious, the rise of online retail, is undeniably a significant factor, but it also masks a rot that had been spreading before Amazon gutted brick and mortar. It's hard to think of any comparable social institution that cost so much and covered so much physical space, and then imploded so quickly. As always, the story is far more complex than any tidy summary can encompass. The first contemporary enclosed suburban shopping mall in America was the Southdale Shopping Center in Edina, Minnesota, which was built in 1956, and the idea was incredibly successful. The exodus from urban centers to suburbs created an enormous opportunity to fill a vacuum for goods and services in smaller communities. A mall patron could get their hair styled, buy groceries, visit the bank, and enjoy art all in one building. As the concept gained steam, the mall seemed a well of endless novelty, a preeminent showcase of modern architecture and innovative products. For the atypical suburban housewife, otherwise isolated, it was a place for socialization and escape. As malls flourished, in many communities they decimated urban shopping districts, which by then had come to be viewed by some as outdated and unsafe. Jumping back to the Sunvalley Mall. At the time of its construction, the Sunvalley Shopping Center was said to be the largest air-conditioned regional shopping center in the world. Developed by A. Alfred Taubman, the shopping center opened on August 3, 1967. By their heyday in the late 1970s and 1980s, malls had established themselves as dominant retail hubs, and for developers, they seemed like a never-ending source of income. In communities that already had their malls, new ones were built to compete with them. Bigger, more upscale, or just different. In Sunvalley's case, the competition came from the Willows in the 80s and more recently the Veranda, both right across the freeway. Even though the popularity of malls would continue well through the 1990s, this competition was the first factor that led to the cascade of closures that followed. There were too many, cannibalizing each other's customers. Novelty meant that when one mall became dated or sometimes viewed as dangerous, there was another one to go to instead. In 1991, the Sunvalley Mall completed a 2-year $40 million renovation that included installing 198 skylights, Italian marble walkways, and chrome and glass railings. Photo from the mall's 50th anniversary in 2017. The overabundance of suburban malls heralded a subtle but important perceptual shift, and by the 2000s, dated and poorly maintained malls were commonplace, and the view of them as sparkling palaces of wonder and delight was fading. It had become trendy to hate them. Department stores were losing the battle for cost-conscious consumers to big box retailers like Walmart, which spread like wildfire through the 1990s. Poor management, obsolete marketing strategies, and unsustainable expansion left retailers like JCPenney and Macy's at a tremendous strategic disadvantage against bargain stores like TJ Maxx and fashionable and often freestanding chains like Target. Leveraged buyouts, a vampiric process where outside investors purchase controlling shares in companies, saddle them with unmanageable debt, and then liquidate them, wiped out mall staples like Sears Payless, Shoe Source, and Toys R Us. In 2012, Sunvalley completed a multi-million-dollar renovation that included new mall entrances with illuminated signage, seating, and landscaping. Parking amenities were also enhanced with energy-efficient LED lighting on the Upper East parking deck, new exterior directional signage, and landscaping. Inside the center, the central Grand Court area was completely renovated with the addition of Wi-Fi, device charging, and a full-service customer service desk. The amount of seating throughout the center was doubled and new faux landscaping was installed. Back to the article. Nevertheless, some malls are weathering the storm, at least for the moment. The American Dream Mall in Rutherford, New Jersey, which opened at the beginning of the pandemic, pairs entertainment, indoor water parks, ski slopes, and roller coasters with unique stores and restaurants, and the Mall of America in Bloomington, Minnesota, narrowly dodged foreclosure through a forbearance agreement. Some malls are turning into mixed-use developments, hotels, and community centers to survive, while others are thriving by catering to certain populations, such as the Asian Garden Mall in Westminster, California. If anything is certain in the quickly changing retail environment, it's that nothing is. There are no sure bets, and the champions of today's marketplace may be buried in dust and shadows tomorrow. As stated earlier, I returned the day after Christmas to check things out, and my anecdotal observation is that it looked busy, clean, and safe, which somewhat surprised me as rumors abound as to its decline. Lots of choices at the food court. Even Sears looked to be doing pretty well. What lies ahead? I hope to learn more as a result of this clip. This photo depicts one suggested possibility, which was posted on Reddit showing mixed usage and walkways to both the veranda and the willows. What do you think should be done? Leave it alone with continued improvements. Turn it into mixed use as suggested in this photo, or bulldoze it and return it to the tomato field that was there before it was built. Many thanks to Matthew Christopher for his article, The Life and Death of the American Mall, and Wikipedia for additional text. Photos and video from the 68024 Corridor History Group archive. Background music from Facebook studio titled Main Street by Ross Lara. Produced by Mark Harrigan. Thanks for watching.